1 year later, the galaxy was a different place. HFY stood on a platform in the center of New Seoul, the great city that humanity had built on the moon. Behind him rose towers of crystal and light, made with founder technology that humans had once forgotten and now remembered. Ships flew through the sky, not just alien ships, but human ships. Real human ships. Ships that could cross the galaxy in days instead of years. Millions of people filled the streets below. Humans from every country on Earth. Aliens from every corner of the Empire. They had come to celebrate a day that no one had ever imagined would happen. The day humanity officially joined the Galactic Council. Not as the youngest race. Not as the weakest. But as equals. As Founders. Princess Yuna stood beside HFY. She wore a dress of silver and blue, the colors of her empire. But she also wore a small pin on her chest, the symbol of Earth, a blue and green circle. It was her way of showing that she belonged to both worlds now. Nervous? She asked. HFY laughed. I fix engines for a living. Now I have to give a speech to 1 billion people. What do you think? Yuna smiled. That smile had become familiar to him over the past year. They had traveled together, fought together, worked together to bring humans and aliens closer than they had ever been. You will do fine, she said. You always do. The crowd below grew quiet. It was time. HFY stepped forward to the edge of the platform. Cameras from 100 worlds focused on his face. His image was being broadcast to every planet in the galaxy. Every ship, every station. Everyone was watching. He thought about what to say. He had written a speech. Lady Bora had helped him with it. It was long and formal and full of important words. But standing here, looking at all these faces, human faces, alien faces, all of them waiting, he realized he did not want to give that speech. He wanted to tell the truth. 1 year ago, he began. I was a mechanic. I fixed broken machines on a space station. I was nobody special. Just a human trying to make a living in a galaxy that did not care about my kind. The crowd listened in silence. Then I heard a princess humming a song. A song my grandmother used to sing to me. A song that was supposed to be just an old family lullaby. Nothing important. Nothing special. He paused. But it was special. That song was the key to everything. It unlocked our history, our truth, our future. Because of that song, we discovered that humans were never new to the galaxy. We were never weak. We were the founders. The first ones. The creators. We just forgot. He looked at Yuna. She nodded at him. For 10,000 years, we slept. We hid. We became small so that something dark could not find us. Our ancestors made a choice. They gave up everything, their power, their knowledge, their memories, so that one day their children could survive. His voice grew stronger. But that time is over now. The sleeping is done. The hiding is done. Humanity is awake. And we are not going back to sleep. The crowd began to cheer. The sound was like thunder. HFY raised his hand and the cheering stopped. I know some of you are afraid, he said. The aliens who worshipped the founders for thousands of years now learned that those founders were walking among you the whole time, wearing simple clothes, living simple lives. That must be strange. Maybe even scary. He looked directly at the cameras. And some of you humans are afraid too. A year ago, you were just trying to survive. Now you learn that your blood carries the legacy of the oldest race in the universe. That is a lot to accept. He took a deep breath. But here's what I have learned. Fear is normal. Change is hard. But we do not have to face it alone. Look around you. Humans and aliens standing together. Celebrating together. 1 year ago, that was impossible. Today, it is real. He thought of his grandmother, her warm smile, her gentle hands. The song she sang every night. My grandmother died before any of this happened, he said. His voice was softer now. She never knew what the song meant. She never knew that she was carrying the memory of an ancient civilization in her heart. But she kept singing. Every night, for her whole life, she sang. And because of that, I am standing here today. He smiled. That is what humans do. We keep going. We keep singing. Even when we forget why, even when it seems hopeless, we hold on to the things that matter. And in the end, that is what makes us founders. Not the technology, not the power, just the simple act of remembering, of never letting go. The crowd was silent, but it was a good silence, a full silence. The silence of people who were feeling something deep and true. So here's my message to the galaxy, HFY said. Humanity is back. We are awake. We are ready. But we are not here to rule. We are not here to conquer. We are here to do what our ancestors did before the darkness came. We are here to help. To build. To create. To make the galaxy a little bit better than we found it. He looked up at the stars. And maybe, together, we can face whatever is coming. Whatever darkness is out there, waiting in the spaces between galaxies, we will meet it. Not as humans alone. Not as aliens alone. But as one people. One galaxy. One family. He stopped speaking. For a moment, there was only silence. Then Princess Yuna started to sing. The song. The old song. The founder's lullaby. Her voice was clear and beautiful. It rose up through the air like light, and then HFY joined in. And then, one by one, humans in the crowd started singing too. Some of them had learned it from their families. Some of them had learned it in the past year, when the awakening spread across Earth. But they all knew it. They all felt it. And then, to HFY's amazement, the aliens started humming along. The Celestial Empire had kept the song alive for 10,000 years. They had worshipped it, protected it. And now, finally, they could share it. The song spread through the crowd like fire. Millions of voices. Human and alien. Young and old. All singing together. HFY felt tears on his face. He did not try to stop them. This was what his grandmother had dreamed of. This was what the founders had hoped for when they scattered themselves across the stars. Not just survival, not just remembering, but coming together, finding each other, becoming a family again. The song ended, but the feeling stayed. Yuna took HFY's hand. You did well, she said. We did well, he corrected her. She smiled. That beautiful, sad, knowing smile that he had come to love. What happens now? She asked. HFY looked out at the crowd. At the ships flying overhead. At the stars that held so many worlds, so many stories, so many possibilities. Now, he said, we find out what comes next, together. And somewhere, watching from a screen in a small house on Earth, an old woman smiled. She was one of the many who had always known the song without knowing why. She had sung it to her children and her grandchildren and anyone who would listen. Now, she understood and as she hummed along with the broadcast, she felt her ancestors smiling too. The long sleep was over. The lost children had found their way home, and the song, the beautiful, ancient, eternal song, would never be forgotten again. The light was everywhere. It filled HFY's eyes, his mind, his whole body. He felt like he was drowning in it. But it was not painful. It was warm. It was safe. It felt like being held by his grandmother. It felt like coming home after a long, long journey. Images flooded into his brain. Memories that were not his own. He saw great cities floating in space. He saw ships that could travel between galaxies in seconds. He saw beings of light and energy, creating stars with their bare hands. He saw the founders at the height of their power, beautiful, kind, and wise beyond anything the modern galaxy could imagine. And then he saw the darkness that came from the spaces between galaxies. A void that was not empty. Something lived there. Something old. Something hungry. It ate stars. It ate planets. It ate life itself. The founders fought it with all their power. They lost. The last image was of millions of ships scattering across the universe. Men, women, children, all of them choosing to forget. Choosing to become small. Choosing to hide until the time was right. Then the light faded. HFY was on his knees. Sweat covered his face. His whole body was shaking. But when he looked up, everything was different. He could see things he could not see before. He could feel things he could not feel before. The universe was speaking to him, and for the first time in his life, he could understand. "What did you do to me?" he asked Hana. The ancient woman helped him stand. "I gave you back what was taken. The knowledge, the power, the truth. You are no longer just a human, HFY. You are a founder." Princess Yuna rushed to his side. "Are you okay? Your eyes, they are different." HFY touched his face. He could not see his own eyes, but he knew what she meant. He could feel it. The same starlight that filled Hana's eyes was now in his. "I am fine," he said. And he meant it. He felt better than fine. He felt complete. The Emperor approached slowly. His old face was full of wonder and fear. "What does this mean? For humanity? For the galaxy?" Hana walked to the center of the room. She raised her hand, and the machines on the walls came to life. Lights flashed. Screens appeared in the air, showing images of Earth, the moon, and space beyond. "This room is a seed," she said. "One of many that the founders planted before they scattered. It contains everything needed to rebuild our civilization. Technology, knowledge, ships, weapons. All of it was waiting for a human to wake it up." "Ships?" HFY asked. Hana smiled and pointed upward. The ceiling, which had been invisible before, became clear like glass. And through it, HFY saw something that took his breath away. Ships. Hundreds of them. Thousands of them. They were hidden inside the moon itself, buried in the rock, sleeping for 10,000 years. Now, lights were turning on. Engines were waking up. The ancient fleet of the founders was coming back to life. "Those belong to humanity now," Hana said. "To you. To all the lost children who forgot who they were." The Emperor's legs gave out. He sat down heavily, his face white as paper. "This changes everything. The balance of power. The order of the galaxy. If humans have this technology, then humans are no longer the newest race," Lady Bora said quietly. "They are the oldest. They are the founders." Princess Yuna looked at HFY. Her purple eyes were filled with something new. Not fear, not shock. It was respect. Deep, real respect. "What will you do?" she asked him. HFY looked at his hands. They looked the same as before, rough, worn from years of work. But he knew they were different now. He was different. "I need to go back to Earth," he said. "I need to tell people. They deserve to know who they really are." "Many will not believe you," Hana warned. "Many will be afraid. Change is hard, especially for those who have forgotten so much. I know." HFY looked out at the stars through the clear ceiling. "But I think humans are ready. We've been ready for a long time. We just did not know what we were ready for." Hana nodded slowly. "Perhaps you are right. Perhaps 10,000 years of sleeping was enough." She walked to him and put her hand on his shoulder. Despite her size and power, her touch was gentle. "I cannot leave this place," she said. "I am too old. My body is tied to these machines. But you can carry our legacy forward. You can wake the others. Every human on Earth has founder blood in them. The song is in all of them, even if they do not know it. You must teach them to remember. Jisiok felt the weight of her words. This was too big. He was just a mechanic. He fixed broken machines and went home tired every night. How could he change the entire world? But then he thought of his grandmother. She was just an old woman in a small house. She did not have power or money or importance, but she kept the song alive. She passed it down to him. And because of that, here he was, standing in the heart of the greatest discovery in human history. Maybe that was the point. Maybe great things did not need great people. Maybe they just needed people who remembered. Okay, he said. I will do it. Hannah smiled. Good, but you will not do it alone. There are others who are waking up. All around your world, humans are starting to remember. Strange dreams. Old songs. Feelings they cannot explain. The awakening has begun. She looked at the princess and the emperor. And you will help him, she said. It was not a question. The emperor stood up. He was still shaky, but his eyes were clear. The Celestial Empire has worshipped the founders for thousands of years. Now we learn that the founders never left. They just forgot. This is not a crisis. This is a miracle. Of course, we will help. Princess Yuna nodded. My mother believed this day would come. She died waiting for it. I will not let her faith be wasted. She took Jisiok's hand. Her blue fingers wrapped around his warm ones. We will go to Earth together, she said. We will tell your people the truth. And then, whatever comes next, we will face it together. Jisiok looked at her. This alien princess, so different from him in every way. But she knew the song. She had kept it alive, just like his grandmother. In the end, maybe they were not so different after all. Together, he agreed. Outside, the ancient ships continued to wake up. Their lights grew brighter. Their engines hummed with power that had been sleeping for 10,000 years. The moon itself seemed to vibrate with new life. And far away, on Earth, people began to dream that an old man in Korea woke up humming a song he had never heard before. A child in Brazil drew pictures of ships she could not explain. A scientist in Japan suddenly understood equations that had puzzled humanity for centuries. Thought the founders were waking up. Humanity was remembering, and the galaxy would never be the same. The fleet arrived at Earth's moon 3 days later. Jisiok stood at the window of the Emperor's ship and looked down at the gray surface below. He had seen pictures of the moon his whole life. Every human had. It hung in Earth's sky like an old friend. Children made wishes on it. Poets wrote songs about it. Scientists studied every inch of it, or so they thought. There, Princess Yuna said, pointing. The Mountain of Silence. That is what our ancestors called it. Jisiok looked where she pointed. On the dark side of the moon, far from where any human had ever walked, there was a mountain. It was not special looking, just rock and dust. But something about it felt different, heavy, important. How did no one ever find this? Jisiok asked. Lady Bora answered from behind them. Your people's machines have found it many times. Satellites have taken pictures. Probes have scanned it. But every time, something happens. The data gets lost. The pictures are deleted. Scientists forget what they were looking for. Someone or something does not want humans to find this place before they are ready. And now? The old woman looked at him with those sharp eyes. Now, we will see if you are ready. The shuttle landed at the base of the mountain. Jisiok stepped out onto the moon's surface. He was wearing a special suit that the aliens had given him. It was better than any suit humans had ever made. He could move easily. He could breathe normally. He did not even feel cold that the princess walked beside him. Behind them came Lady Bora, the emperor, and 100 soldiers in silver armor. The most powerful beings in the galaxy, here to watch a human mechanic touch a door. They walked for an hour. The mountain was bigger than it looked from space. Finally, they reached a place where the rock face changed. It became smooth. Too smooth. Like it had been shaped by tools that no human had ever seen. And there was the door. It was massive. 20 meters tall and 10 meters wide. Made of a metal that glowed faintly blue in the darkness. On its surface were symbols writing that twisted and curved in ways that hurt Giseok's eyes to look at. "Founder script," Lady Bora whispered. Her voice was full of wonder. "I have studied this language for 200 years. And still, I can only understand pieces of it." "What do the pieces say?" the emperor asked as the old woman walked closer to the door. She traced her fingers over the glowing symbols. "Welcome home," she said. "That is what it says at the top. And at the bottom, remember who you were. Become who you are meant to be." Giseok felt a strange feeling in his chest. Like something was pulling him forward. Like the door was calling to him. "What do I do?" he asked. The princess took his hand. "We do not know. No one has ever gotten this far. Just try. Do what feels right." Giseok walked toward the door. Each step felt heavier than the last. Not because of the gravity, the alien suit took care of that. It was something else. Something inside him. Getting stronger. Getting louder. He reached the door and placed his palm against the cold metal. Nothing happened. The soldiers behind him made sounds of disappointment. Someone laughed quietly, but Giseok did not give up. He closed his eyes and thought about his grandmother. He thought about her voice, her warm smile, the way she held him when he was scared of the dark. And then he started to sing. The song came out of him like it always did. Simple, old, beautiful. The melody rose and fell like waves, like wind, like heartbeats. The door began to glow brighter. Giseok kept singing. The symbols on the door started to move. They swirled and danced like living things. The ground beneath his feet began to shake. And then, slowly, the door opened. Light poured out. Not blue light or white light. This was something different. It was warm, golden. It felt like sunlight and starlight and moonlight all mixed together. It felt like home. Giseok stopped singing. His eyes were wide. His heart was beating so fast he thought it might explode. Behind him, the emperor fell to his knees. "The founders," he whispered. "They are real. They were always real." Giseok stepped through the door. Inside was a room larger than any building on Earth. The ceiling was so high he could not see it. The walls were covered with machines devices that looked like nothing humans or aliens had ever created. In the center of the room was a platform. On the platform was a chair, and in the chair sat a woman. She was human. Or at least, she looked human. Her skin was brown like Earth. Her hair was black like space. Her eyes were closed. She was not moving, not breathing. But somehow, Giseok knew she was not dead. "Who is that?" the princess asked. She had followed him inside. So had the emperor and Lady Bora. Giseok walked toward the platform. Something was pulling him. Something deep and old and powerful. When he reached the chair, the woman's eyes opened. They were filled with stars. Not purple like the princess's eyes. Not any normal color. They were black with tiny points of light, like she had the whole universe inside her head. "Hello, child," she said. Her voice was soft but strong. It seemed to come from everywhere at once. "You remembered the song. I knew one of you would. It just took longer than I expected." Giseok could not speak. He could only stare. "My name is Hana," the woman said. "I am the last of the founders. and I have been waiting for you for 10,000 years. Waiting for me? HFY managed to say. Why me? Hannah smiled. It was a kind smile. A grandmother's smile. Not for you specifically, child. For any of you. For any human who still remembered. The song was a key, you see. A way to keep the truth alive, even when everything else was forgotten. She stood up from the chair. She was taller than HFY had realized. Taller than any normal human. Long ago, our people, the founders, lived among the stars. We created life. We spread it across the galaxy. We helped young races grow and learn. We thought we were gods. Her smile faded. We were wrong. Something came. Something from outside our galaxy. Something hungry and dark. We fought it. We died by the billions. In the end, we realized we could not win. So we did something desperate. She looked at HFY with those star-filled eyes. We hid. We scattered ourselves across 1,000 worlds. We erased our own memories. We became simple, primitive. We started over, hoping that one day, when we were ready, we would remember. Humans, HFY said. His voice was shaking. Humans are founders. Yes, Hannah said. You are our children, our legacy. We gave up everything so that you could live, so that one day you could finish what we started. The Emperor stepped forward. His face was pale with shock. The Celestial Empire, he said. My people, we worship the founders. We built our entire civilization on their memory. And now you tell me they were here all along? Hiding as primitives? Hannah turned to him. Her eyes were gentle. Your people did well, young one. You kept the faith. You kept the song. And you brought one of my children back to me. For that, I thank you. She looked around at all of them, the Emperor, the Princess, Lady Bora, the soldiers. But now, the time for hiding is over. The darkness is coming back. And humanity must wake up. She turned back to HFY. Are you ready to learn who you really are, child? Are you ready to become what you were always meant to be? HFY thought about Earth, about his small life, about the grandmother who sang him to sleep with a song older than the stars. Yes, he said. I am ready. Hannah smiled again, and the room began to glow. The news spread faster than light itself. Within hours, the whole station was talking. A human knew the founder's song. A simple mechanic carried the melody of the first ones in his blood. It seemed impossible. It seemed like a joke. But Princess Yuna was not the kind of person who made jokes. HFY sat in a small room near the observation deck. 2 guards with silver armor stood at the door. They were not there to protect him. They were there to make sure he did not leave. He was not a prisoner, they said. But he was not free either. His hands were shaking. He looked at them and tried to make them stop. He was just a mechanic. He fixed engines and cleaned filters. He was nobody. How did he end up here? The door opened. Princess Yuna walked in. Behind her came an older alien woman with the same blue skin and silver hair. But this woman's hair was streaked with white, and her face had lines from many years of living. Her eyes were sharp like knives. This is my teacher, the princess said. Her name is Lady Bora. She knows more about the founders than anyone alive. Lady Bora did not smile. She did not greet HFY. She just stared at him like he was a puzzle she needed to solve. Sing it, she said. Her voice was cold. What? HFY asked. The song. Sing it, now. HFY looked at the princess. Yuna gave him a small nod. So he opened his mouth and sang. The melody came out rough at first. He was nervous. But then he closed his eyes and thought of his grandmother. He thought of her warm hands and her soft voice. He thought of the small house and the stars outside, his window as a child, The song flowed out of him like water from a spring. When he finished, the room was silent. Lady Bora's face had changed. The coldness was gone. In its place was something Jiziok had never seen before: fear, wonder, and tears. "It is true," the old woman whispered. "Every note, every rise and fall, it is exactly the same. After 10,000 years. How is this possible?" "That is what we need to find out," the princess said. Lady Bora walked closer to Jiziok. She reached out and touched his face with her blue fingers. Her hands were cold, but gentle. "What do your people know about your own history?" she asked. Jiziok thought carefully. "We know that humans started in a place called Africa on Earth. We spread across the planet over many thousands of years. We built cities. We made wars. We created art and music and science. And then, 300 years ago, we went to space." "And before Africa?" "Before the first humans." Jiziok shook his head. "Nothing. Evolution. Animals that slowly became us." Lady Bora turned to the princess. "The founders disappeared 10,000 years ago. Human recorded history begins about 6,000 years ago. There is a gap. 4,000 years of nothing." "What are you saying?" Jiziok asked. His voice was small. The old woman looked at him with those sharp eyes. "I am saying that your people might have been made to forget. I am saying that the founders might not have disappeared. They might have been scattered, hidden, their memories erased. Waiting. Waiting for what?" "For someone to remember." The door opened again. A tall alien with golden skin and 4 arms walked in. He wore the uniform of a station officer. "The Emperor has responded," he said. "He wants to see the human. Immediately." Jiziok felt his stomach drop. The Emperor, the most powerful being in the galaxy, the ruler of 1,000 worlds. And he wanted to see a mechanic from Earth. The princess touched his shoulder. "Do not be afraid. I will be with you." "Why?" Jiziok asked. "Why do you care about me?" "I am nothing." Yuna smiled. It was the same sad smile from before. "My mother died when I was young," she said. "She was the one who taught me the song. She said it was our oldest treasure. She said that one day we would find others who remembered. She died believing this. And now, here you are. A human. From a small world on the edge of the galaxy. And you know the song." She took his hand. Her skin was cool against his. "You are not nothing, Jiziok. You might be the most important person in the universe." They traveled to the Emperor's ship by shuttle. It was the largest ship Jiziok had ever seen. It made the space station look like a toy. Inside, everything was made of materials that seemed to glow with their own light. The floors, the walls, the ceiling, all of it shined like captured stars. Aliens of every kind bowed as the princess walked past. When they saw Jiziok, they stared. Some with curiosity, some with disgust. A human in the Emperor's presence? It had never happened before. They entered a great hall. At the far end sat a throne made of crystal. On the throne sat an old man with blue skin and silver hair that had turned completely white. His eyes were the same purple as his daughter's, but deeper somehow. Older, wiser. This was Emperor Taiwan of the Celestial Empire. "So," the Emperor said. His voice filled the entire hall. "This is the human who knows our sacred song." Jiziok did not know if he should bow or kneel or speak. He just stood there, frozen. "Father," the princess said. "He is afraid." "Be gentle," the Emperor laughed. It was not a mean laugh. It was the laugh of someone who had seen many things and was not easily surprised anymore. "Come closer, human. I will not hurt you." Jiziok walked forward. His legs felt like water. He stopped at the base of the throne and looked up at the Emperor. Lady Bora has told me her theory, the Emperor said. She believes your people are the lost children of the founders, the ones who were scattered during the Great Dying. Do you believe this? Jiseok thought about lying. He thought about being humble and saying he did not know. But something in the Emperor's eyes told him that lies would not work here. I do not know what to believe, he said honestly. But I know the song. I have known it my whole life. My grandmother knew it. Her grandmother knew it. How far back does it go? I do not know. But it is real. It is true. And it is yours too. The Emperor leaned forward. His ancient eyes studied Jiseok's face. There is a place, he said slowly. A moon near your Earth. Your people have walked on it. But they did not explore all of it. There is a mountain on a dark side. Under that mountain, there is a door. A door that has been closed for 10,000 years. Our ancestors tried to open it. Every race in the galaxy has tried to open it. Nothing works. He paused. The door has writing on it. Ancient writing. Founder writing. Do you know what it says? Jiseok shook his head. The Emperor smiled. It was a strange smile, full of hope and fear at the same time. It says, only the lost children can open this door. Only those who remember the song. The hall was silent. Every alien in the room stared at Jiseok. We are going to your moon, the Emperor said. You are going to try to open that door. And if you succeed, everything will change. For your people. For my people. For the entire galaxy. Jiseok looked at the princess. She nodded at him. He looked back at the Emperor. I will try, he said. And somewhere deep inside him, in a place he did not even know existed, something old and powerful began to wake up. The space station was busy that day. Ships came and went like birds in the sky. Aliens of all colors and shapes walked through the metal halls. Some had 4 arms. Some had skin like glass. Some floated instead of walking. This was Station Aria, the biggest meeting place in the Galaxy. Park. Jiseok did not care about any of this. He was tired. His hands were dirty with oil and his back hurt from bending over broken machines all day. He was just a mechanic. A human mechanic. And in this galaxy full of advanced aliens, humans were nothing special. They were new. They were weak. They were nobody. Jiseok wiped his hands on his old work clothes and walked toward the observation deck. It was his favorite place on the station. A big window showed the stars outside. Most aliens did not come here. They had seen stars their whole lives. But for Jiseok, the view never got old. It reminded him of home, of Earth, of his grandmother's small house in the countryside where he grew up. Today, the observation deck was not empty. A woman sat near the window. No, not a woman. Jiseok could see that right away. Her skin was pale blue, like the morning sky. Her hair was silver and fell down her back like water. She wore clothes made of something that looked like starlight itself. She was beautiful in a way that did not seem real. Jiseok knew who she was. Everyone on the station knew. This was Princess Yuna of the Celestial Empire, the most powerful empire in the galaxy. Her father, the Emperor, ruled over 1,000 worlds. She was here for the peace talks between the great alien nations. Jiseok started to turn around. He should not be here. A dirty human mechanic had no business being near royalty. But then he heard something that made him stop. The princess was humming. It was a soft sound, sad and sweet at the same time. The melody rose and fell like waves on a beach, like wind through old trees, like something very, very old. Jiseok's heart stopped. He knew this song. His grandmother used to sing it every night when he was a child. She would hold him close and sing until he fell asleep. She said her mother taught it to her. and her mother's mother taught it before that. The song had no name. It had no words that anyone remembered. But every person in his family knew it by heart. Then how could an alien princess from a world millions of light years away know his grandmother's song? Jisiok did not think. He did not plan. His mouth opened and he started to hum along. The melody came out of him like breathing. Natural. Easy. Perfect. The princess. Stop. She turned around so fast that her silver hair flew through the air. Her eyes were wide. They were purple, like flowers, and right now they were full of shock. She stared at Jisiok like he was a ghost. "What did you just do?" she asked. Her voice was shaking. Jisiok suddenly felt very small. Very stupid. He was just a mechanic. He had no right to interrupt a princess. "I am sorry," he said quickly. "I did not mean to bother you. I will leave now." "No." The princess stood up. She walked toward him with quick steps. "Do not leave. Tell me, where did you learn that song?" Jisiok did not know what to say. "My grandmother," he said. "She used to sing it to me when I was young. It is just an old family song. Nothing special." The princess's face went even more pale. For a moment, Jisiok thought she might fall down. She reached out and grabbed his arm to keep herself steady. "Nobody recognizes this song," she said. Her voice was barely a whisper. "I have traveled to 100 worlds. I have met thousands of different species. I have hummed this melody in every place I've ever been. No one has ever known it. No one. Not once." Jisiok felt confused. "I do not understand. It is just a lullaby. A simple song. It is not simple." The princess's eyes were filling with tears. "This song is sacred to my people. It comes from the ones who came before. The first ones, the founders. They were the ancient race who lived before any of us. They created life. They spread it across the galaxy. And then, 10,000 years ago, they disappeared. No one knows where they went. No one knows what happened to them." Jisiok shook his head. "This made no sense. But I am human. We only left Earth a few hundred years ago. We know nothing about ancient races or founders." The princess looked at him for a long time. Her purple eyes studied his face, his hands, his simple work clothes. She looked at him like she was seeing something impossible. "What if you were wrong?" she said softly. "What if your people did not start on Earth? What if you were there before? What if you forgot?" Jisiok laughed. It was a nervous laugh. "That is crazy. Humans have history. We have records. We know where we come from. Do you?" The princess tilted her head. "How far back do your records go? A few thousand years? 10,000? And before that? What do you really know about where humans began?" Jisiok wanted to argue. He wanted to say she was wrong. But the song was still in his head. His grandmother's voice was still in his heart. And he remembered something she told him once, when he was very small. She said the song was older than anyone knew. Older than any country. Older than any language. She said it came from a time before time. And she said that one day, someone would remember. "I need to tell my father about this," the princess said. Her voice was serious now. All the softness was gone. "The emperor must know. If humans carry the song of the founders, if your people hold the memory of the first ones, then everything we know about the galaxy is wrong." She looked at Jisiok one more time. In her eyes, he was no longer a dirty mechanic. He was something else. Something important. "What is your name?" she asked. "Park Jisiok," he said. "Jisiok." She spoke his name like it was precious. "I think your life is about to change. I think all of humanity is about to change. Are you ready?" Jisiok looked out at the stars. Somewhere out there was Earth, his home, his grandmother's grave, and maybe, just maybe, something much older than any of them had ever imagined. "No," he said honestly, "I am not ready, but I do not think that matters anymore." The princess smiled. It was a sad smile, a knowing smile. "No," she agreed. "It does not.